You're listening to Drive on talkSPORT with me, Andy Goldstein, alongside Darren Ambrose. Yeah, this will be an interesting one. We're doing this on the back of the fact that Lewandowski has chosen Barca. And you sort of look at Lewandowski and you think he's without doubt one of the best number 9s in world football. So that means he could have had his choice of any club practically, right? And he could have come to the Premier League, right? There are options there. Chelsea looking for a number 9. Man United, if Ronaldo goes, looking for a number 9. He's going to make any club stronger, right? Even Liverpool, before they spent all that money, they could have been looking at him. I think they were linked to him, actually, as well. Why do you think he chose to play in La Liga if everyone says the Premier League's the toughest league in the world? Because maybe slightly worried or not?
I don't think he's worried at all. I think he's just set his heart on Barcelona, and I think it's been like that for a while now. And like you said, if he has the choice of any team, which I think he kind of did have, because any team, any of the big teams would have taken him, he wanted to play for Barcelona. Similar to the question that you're asking, if you could play for any team, which is what he had, who would you go for? And he's picked Barcelona. I'd pick Real Madrid. I wouldn't pick any of the English sides.
Do you think there's anything to be said for the fact that we will never see the likes? I'm guessing Messi's not going to play Premier League football. I'm guessing Benzema is not going to come over and play Premier League football. Do you think there's a reason behind that? Or is it just as simple as they're playing for Real Madrid, he was playing for Barcelona, he's playing at PSG now. But okay, Messi, right? Left Barcelona. He's gone to play in a league where you're going to win it every single season. It's not a difficult league to play in. It's the Farmers League people sometimes refer to. There's no big competition there. Why would Messi, one of, if not the greatest player ever to kick a ball, why would he choose to play in the sort of maybe the last 2-3 years of his career in France when he could be playing in the Premier League?
I don't know. You know, it's such a difficult question because he had the opportunity, as I think we rightly know, could have gone to Manchester City.
Yeah, they were linked
under
heavily.
Pep Guardiola. They were linked heavily. So I don't know why he chose PSG. Maybe it's just for happiness, way of life, living. Like you said, Barcelona, Lewandowski out living in Barcelona. It's not a better way of life. I mean, I'm English. I'm from England. I love living in England, but I would still pick Real Madrid if it was me and live in Madrid.
When you look at the two players, Messi and Ronaldo, there's always that debate, who's the better one, right? Yeah. The thing that some people ticks the boxes for Ronaldo over Messi is the fact that he has done it in various countries, one of them being, of course, this one, where Messi has spent the majority of his career, of course, over in Spain. Does that count for anything? If you do it in the Premier League as well as La Liga, as well as maybe Italy, as well as...
I think to a certain degree, yes, but if you look at when they were both in Spain, they were both on par with each other. So you'd like to think, or you're almost certain that if Messi did come in the Premier League, he would be able to cope. For some reason, he chose against coming to the Premier League and went to play in France instead. Might be financially based. I doubt it because he's got so much money. But I just think it's way of life, the way he wants to be living. People that are there, that were playing for PSG. Who knows? Maybe... Do you want the pressure of coming to the Premier League and risk that? Maybe these players, I don't think Messi is thinking that at all, but maybe these players are thinking they don't want to risk coming to the Premier League and it being a tough league, as you said. And yeah, for me, that's why I edge Ronaldo just ahead of everyone in terms of that, because he has done it everywhere he's been.
It's interesting when you say you'd like to live in Madrid in Spain, right? Do you think it's the same for Premier League footballers that decide where they're going to play? Is the most desirable place to play London, then Manchester and Liverpool, then the Midlands, then further north, Sunderland, Newcastle, etc.?
Yeah, well, potentially, yeah. Maybe. I'm not so sure about foreign players coming over to England. I'm not sure they mind that much unless they start their initial club in London. Then they won't want to come out of London. But yeah, I don't think that matters. But English players, yeah, I think they'd like to live in London unless you're from the north, unless you're from Liverpool and Manchester. I think a lot of people would want to stay in London. In terms of desirable, you can only look at Barcelona and Real Madrid, and I think that's historically as well. You look at the players that played for Real Madrid in particular, because that's the team I would pick, the historical, the El Galacticos. You know, that's why I look at it. When I was growing up, that they were the team that everyone wanted to play for. Beckham went out there, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Zidane, all these players, Roberto Carlos, all played for that team, and you'd want to be a part of that history. And I think that's the main reason that makes it desirable for myself.
And of course, Figo played for both of them.
Yeah.
Which is a bit nuts. That doesn't happen that often.
I know.
Let's take calls, shall we? 03717223344. If they all offered you a contract, which one would you take? And also, we'll chuck in England as well, right? Would it be London? Would it be Manchester? Would it be the Midlands? Would it be up north? Let's speak to Graham, who's dialed us. Hello, Graham. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you, Andy?
I'm good. I'm very well. I detect a Geordie accent. Is that right?
It is indeed.
Okay. You're not going to choose Newcastle, are you?
Well, I'm going to turn it on the head, this conversation.
Okay. I like that.
First of all, a couple of things, bit of housekeeping. Darren,
Yep.
which also goes with this conversation a little bit. I was there in Marseille in 2004, away and stuff like that. And I think those sort of nights are really, really special. It's the atmosphere. And I think for players, that must be a big turn on.
Yeah.
Secondly, Darren, my youngest son, who is 21, is massive Lego, got more Star Wars stuff on his shelf than he knows what to do with all the big ships.
How old you say he was?
21.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah?
I like Graham.
Yeah. Has he got a girlfriend?
He has, yes, indeed.
Has he, though? Or did he build her out of Lego? Okay, yeah, go on.
So there you go.
Okay.
Right, okay, so football, I think there's special clubs in the world that you'd want to play for. In England, I will admit that Liverpool and Manchester United are the clubs that are massive in this country, probably the two biggest clubs in this country with everything just thrown into it. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I'd have no desire to play for any of them, so I'd pick my team, because I think just playing for a city, and there are special teams. I think Dortmund are a special team, Bayern Munich. In France, I'd rather play for Marseille than I would Paris, even though it's a given that you're going to win the trophies. Mm. In Spain, the two clubs for me, I think Bilbao is special, and if you're going to force me on to play for a foreign team, I guess it would be Barcelona. People like Madrid just turn me off because it's all just like money, 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 and that sort of...
Whereas Barcelona got no money, money, money.
Well, I think they've borrowed 600 million from Spotify, haven't they?
Yeah, their money's coming in left, right and centre. I'm not quite sure anyone really knows how they're getting the money or where it's going or why they can't afford to pay certain players. But, Graham, let me ask you, you mentioned Liverpool and Manchester United are the big heads down here. If they both came in for you and you had to sign for one, who would you choose?
I think I'd retire.
You can't. You're 21 and you've run out of Lego.
I'm not going to choose either.
Why? Why can't you choose one to play for?
Just because I think if you came from Newcastle, Andy, you'd probably understand what a special club's all about.
Graham, do you think Newcastle could eventually become one of the most desirable clubs to play for?
Well, hopefully you'd agree with us, because obviously you've been up when we've been relatively successfully. Although we haven't won trophies, we were played in Europe for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. And I do think we could do those European nights, aka Barcelona and stuff like that.
Yeah,
were special nights and things like that. So yes, I think we could do it. Before anyone thinks I'm just a stupid Geordie that's going to say we're going to win the league next year, I'm not. I think top 10, fighting with Leicester. Funny enough, mentioned before, West Ham, Wolves is where we are, but over a period of time, I do think we could become a really, really special club and what we should have been.
Just quickly, have you been disappointed so far in the transfer market with your club?
No, I think they're doing it right, because they just don't want to splash the cash. They want to buy the right players at the price that they think they are. If there's a deal to be had, I don't think there's a budget. They will buy that player, but I don't think they want to get turned over.
Okay.
Equally, Andy, if you have got time, just go back to the teeth thing. I did get my wisdom tooth took out and ended up breaking my elbow because I was drugged up too much on the wisdom tooth and all the rest of it.
And you fell over?
No, when I came back, there was whether it changed sheet of ice and all the rest of it.
Dear.
And I just lost it all, broke my elbow, but I was drugged up through the wisdom tooth.
So you didn't feel it. You're okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But I just thought I'd turn the tooth.
I appreciate that. Just quickly. Out of all the clubs you named around Europe, what's the one? Who's the club that you would sign for?
For me, the special one is definitely Barcelona.
Okay, they're the one you sign. Graham, you sound like a lovely fella. Thanks so much for coming on.
No problem. I might call you again.
Make sure you do. Thank you, Graham.
Cheers, Graham.
So there you go. That's the question we're asking. Just quickly. I'll keep saying just quickly. I've broken that. No, I've broken it. Talking of teeth, right?
Yeah.
Can I say who it was that told me? Okay, so Ant and Dec, right? Ant and Dec told me a story. I think it was Ant told me this story, right? That this is horrific. right, that one of their pals from Newcastle couldn't afford, this is 100% true, I'm sorry if you're having your dinner, couldn't afford to go to the dentist and get his teeth sorted out, right? This is true. So bought a file, like a file that you'd file down some wood with.
No, he didn't.
And filed his front 2 teeth.
Oh, that's outrageous.
I can't even talk about that. It's horrific. That's a true story. Isn't that horrific? That's a true story. By the way, do not do that. All right? Not that you need me to say, do not do that.
The most unbelievable part of that is Ant and Dec have other friends other than themselves.
Each other?
Yeah.
Other friends?
Yeah, friends.
They have lots of friends. That's Geordie. Friends, man.